Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to be a liquidity provider on Uniswap v3. So first I want to start out here on uniswap.org and hit launch app. Now notice I set my network to Optimism, and so this is going to be the same process as if you're doing this on the Ethereum mainnet, but for now I have it set to Optimism, and you can switch to whichever network you would rather be using. And if you need any information on how to deposit into Optimism, you can take a look at our previous video on that. I'm going to switch over to the pool section and hit new position. So from here, we first have to choose which pair of assets that we're going to provide liquidity for. And so I'm going to select DAI and USDC. And now, important part here is choosing which fee tier you want to select. So there are 3 different fee tiers that you can choose to set for your liquidity provision. The most common one for stablecoin pairs, which is what we're doing here, is the 0.05% fee. But for a lot of the pairs that you might create, the 0.3% fee is the most common, and then there is the 1% fee for more exotic pairs that would have very extreme price changes between the 2 assets and would need larger compensation for potential and permanent loss. So we're going to go with the one that most people have. So best option for stablecoin pair of 0.05%. To get a general overview of what we're doing here, we are setting a specific range of liquidity for this pair. And so this is the big difference between Uniswap v3 compared to previous versions, in that instead of providing liquidity for the entire range of prices between the 2 assets, we're providing prices in a very specific range. And so I'm going to set the range of assets between 0.99 and 1.02. And it's going to set to something slightly different from that just because of how the tick marks are set up within Uniswap. And we can also zoom out a little bit here on the chart and just get an idea of the actual range that we're providing liquidity over. And you can see from the chart here where the liquidity is currently located. And you can see this is a larger range than a lot of people are setting. And so it might be more capital efficient to do something a little bit tighter. But with a wider range, you're also getting some of the fees for whenever you do get deviation outside of that range that most people are covering. Because the fees for trades within a particular range are shared with liquidity providers proportionally to how much liquidity they supplied within that specific range. So that said, I'm going to stick with this wider range, and now I'm going to set the amount that I want to use here. And so I'm just going to go with the maximum amount of DAI that I have, and see that it automatically sets the amount of USDC that is going to be added to create the corresponding position. You can put in a value for either one of these, and it will automatically populate the other side, because depending on the range you set, you're going to have a different ratio between the 2 assets. So basically you just pick whichever one of the assets you would like to set a specified value for, and the other one will be automatically set based on that range. So now that I have that set, I just need to approve the 2 assets for spending. So I'm going to confirm that. I'm going to confirm USDC. And since I'm using Optimism, these transactions are quite fast. Now I'm going to preview here. You can see how much we're putting in on each side, the fee tier, min price, max price, and these are the prices that the position will be completely composed of one of the assets. As it moves outside of that range you set, then full position will become composed of a single one of the assets instead of split between both sides of the pair. So now I'm going to hit add, confirm that transaction, and just like that, we are set, and with a quite fast transaction thanks to Optimism. So now we have this position here. We can see the info about this, And note that this is a non-fungible token representing a specific liquidity provision piece, as opposed to in previous versions of Uniswap, liquidity provider positions were fungible tokens since they were interchangeable, but now these are representing a very specific position. That's all for now. I hope that you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.